guys, the Game Awards are here! Also, I'm talking about games on a channel that's primarily focused on movies. Let's begin! So the Game Awards are this upcoming Thursday, the 10th, which is also the same day that Cyberpunk comes out, so nobody's probably gonna watch the awards. Nonetheless, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to try to do my predictions on what I think is gonna win. Now, a little bit of history first. I have actually a very love-hate relationship with the Game Awards. First, I don't like that pretty much anything in December gets cut off and then dragged into the next year's award. Thus, you're not actually going to see Cyberpunk go head-to-head with Last of Us Part 2, which is what I really was hoping for. I also hate that the award itself smells like money. There's no secret that a lot of these big companies are throwing all of their backing into this award show, and thus there's this air of fakeness to it. So it's just one of those things that rubs me kind of the wrong way. Now, for me personally, I don't even consider these the official Game of the Year awards. That honor actually goes to the DICE Awards that happens towards the end of February, sometimes even in March. Now, those awards have their own problems, but I like the atmosphere during that award show a little bit more. Almost like the Oscars of Game Awards. But just like the Golden Globes, the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, have their own unique flair to them as well, and things that you can really find entertaining. For instance, I love the big reveals that the award shows. And honestly, when it comes to the end of it, that's really what we're watching it for, right? To see all the cool announcements that they're gonna do. Also, Keighley has had some really cool moments as well.
As you noticed, Hideo Kojima is not here with us tonight, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. Mr. Kojima had every intention of being with us tonight, but unfortunately he was informed by a lawyer representing Konami just recently that he would not be allowed to travel to tonight's awards ceremony to accept any awards. He's still under an employment contract, and it's disappointing, and it's inconceivable to me that an artist like Hideo would not be allowed to come here and celebrate with his peers.
Good on him! Anyway, I'm on the awards website right now, so we're just gonna scroll all the way to the bottom here, and we're gonna begin from there, shall we? And the first nominee they have, Best Esports Team. I don't know. I don't follow esports, so I don't know. Skip. Best Esports Host. Skip. Best Esports Game. Fortnite. Next. Best Esports Events. Best Esports Coach. Best Esports Athlete. Son of a bitch. Best Debut Game. Hey, what I can do. Put it on the screen. Alright, we got Carry On, Mortal Shell, Raji and Ancient Epic, Roki, and Phasmophobia. Okay, best debut game. I am familiar with a couple of these. Carry On, I know a lot of people talked about that one. Raji was one that I actually had my eyes on. However, for my prediction, I have to go with Phasmophobia. It came out not that long ago. It's a lot of fun to see people play it online. So I think that's going to be the mindset of a lot of voters. Just what's the most fun to play? What's the most fun to watch other people play? I'm going to go there. So that's my prediction there. Following up that award, we have Content Creator of the Year. God damn it! Best Multiplayer. Alright, categories are Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant. So here's one of the big problems I have with this award show right now. Among Us. I'm not saying this is a bad game. In fact, out of all these categories, it's probably the one that is gonna win. However, that game is 2 years old. And I'm sorry we didn't discover that game until just this year, but it really doesn't deserve to be on this list. I don't care that it has the best chances of winning. I can't in good conscience vote for this. It's gonna win, I get it, but I'm just gonna skip that. Not gonna vote for it. I'm actually going to vote for Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. It did come out this year, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think a lot of people's eyes were on it. So, if Among Us doesn't take it, I think this is going to be the runner-up. Best Sports or Racing Game, we have Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. So with this one, it's usually the odd man out that usually takes the win, which in this instance, it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I think that one has the best chance of taking it, so that's what I'm putting on my list. Best sim and strategy game, we have Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and XCOM Chimera Squad. Which I actually really like XCOM. I haven't played Chimera Squad, but I really like the franchise. That being said, I think it's really kind of come down to Microsoft Flight Simulator. What they did with that game, actually putting the entire world in this game, is a very impressive feat. It does suffer from a lot of bugs and glitches, but I still think that the game in its entirety is going to overshadow any negativity that might be in there. So that's the one that I'm putting on my list. Down to the next one. Best Family. Animal Crossing New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario The Origami King. I think this one's pretty simple. This one's going to go to Animal Crossing. It came out at just the perfect time. Everybody's played it. A lot of people have sunk massive amounts of hours into it. And yeah, it's a fun game, so why not? It's the game we needed. It's the game we deserved. Best Fighting. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, and Under Night in Birth X Late CLR? Okay, so I actually have quite a bit of thoughts on this category. First and foremost, anything inspired by anime or an anime fighting game is pretty much out of the running. There's just no chance of those things winning. So really it's going to come down to Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Second, I am still incredibly salty about Street Fighter V and how it came out. It was terrible, and I know they've added a ton of stuff into it. I've heard it's still pretty rough around the edges, but regardless, I'm still incredibly angry with how it first released, and you know what? It's a great franchise, so I'm really salty about that. So, naturally, Mortal Kombat 11, right? That's gotta be the winner. Except, moving on to my third point, Mortal Kombat 11 and Street Fighter V didn't come out this year. You could argue that the Ultimate and the Champion Editions did come out this year. The DLC came out this year, and they did a great job with that. If you were to put those in like a best Ultimate package release or something along those lines, fine. If you wanted to put it in best DLC, fine. But these fighting games did not come out this year. And I think it's incredibly unfair that finally a year where lesser known fighting games are finally going to get some attention, you decide to then place these two mega franchises in there is really wrong. And I know, I'm sure that Ed Boon and NetherRealms and Capcom, I'm sure they're funding this whole event, so gotta include them, right? But it's so unfair that I'm actually not gonna vote for any of those. Mortal Kombat's gonna win, no doubt about it, but it's just not right. I'm gonna go for One Punch Man, because that's at least a series I know. Best role-playing game. Alright, we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, okay, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Alright, so again, Persona 5 Royale, this game did not come out this year. Royale did, but it's just Persona 5 with more content added in, so again, it's not fair. And this is coming from someone who absolutely loves Persona 5. I adore Persona 5, but it's just not fair to the other nominees here. Luckily, at least with this one, I don't believe Persona's taking it. I think this is very obviously going to Final Fantasy VII Remake. The game did really great, a lot of hype behind it, great reviews. It was a good game. I actually really enjoyed it, so that's the one I'm voting for on this one. Best Action Adventure. We have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2. And Star Wars being here, this is the game that came out in December of last year, and so they had to fit it into this category this year. And it's, again, so unfair because that game was really good. And this is probably the only nomination it's getting, just because it's been so long that people have kind of forgotten about all the great things it did. Not that it really ultimately matters in this category, because the winner is going to be The Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 really is going to be the ultimate winner this night. This is going to be the first of many awards I'm sure it's taking home. Best Action, Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4. This one's pretty easy. This one's going to go to Doom Eternal. Hades also got incredibly great reviews, but I think more people played Doom Eternal, and a lot more people really spoke about how amazing that game was. So I think this is going to be one of the easier picks of the night. Doom Eternal. Put that down. Innovation in accessibility. So this is actually what game delivered the options to make it easy to play with people with disabilities. The categories here are Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperroot, which I actually don't know Hyperroot. I don't know anything about that one. The Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legion. A quick note, Grounded, I think has a really great accessibility option where the spiders in the game, if you are arachnophobic, you can actually move the toggle to make them like floating blobs that attack you rather than spiders. I think it's really cute, it's very clever. But Grounded is in early access. The full release has not actually come out yet. It's not actually scheduled until next year. So I really think this game shouldn't be on here just yet. However, doesn't matter because The Last of Us Part 2 is taking this one as well. And this is one that you really can't argue it doesn't deserve, because they did an amazing thing with their accessibility. They have so many options. I mean, it deserves it. If there's one award you just can't argue with, it's this one for The Last of Us Part 2. Best VR AR game. We have Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Super easy. Half-Life Alyx. Actually, I think this is probably the most sure in the bag one out of them all thus far that I've seen. Half-Life Alyx all the way. No need to argue further about that. Best community support. So from what I can read here, it says that this is the one that really kept talking to the fans after the game released. They were very vocal about what they needed to fix, about what was coming up next, patch notes, all that stuff. So the nominees are Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant. So my first thought would be Fortnite, because, I mean, the juggernaut that is Fortnite is unquestionable. But I have heard they've had a couple of misses this year, a couple of events that people really didn't go for. So I think I'm going to go with Apex on this. It's a bold pick. It might be a very stupid pick, but Damien actually plays this one all the time, so I'm constantly hearing him talking about what's coming up next. So I think they're doing a good job with communicating and bringing out content constantly. So that's what I'm going for. Best mobile game, and I can already... Among Us. God damn it. No. Call of Duty Mobile. What's wrong with you? I mean, is it... You just don't know numbers? You don't know years? Call of Duty Mobile, obviously, 2019. Actually, let me do this. I'm gonna do this. I am going to look up when that game came out. Maybe it came out in December. I don't know. No, October 1st, 2019. So it did make your cutoff for last year. Right there, 2019. I don't know if you guys could read that. So yeah, what happened? Actually, let's go to your website and find out. No. You guys did nominate it. Not only did you nominate it, but it won your mobile game last year. That's not right. I mean, all jokes aside, that's really not right. Why? Gotta get that Activision money? Gotta suck that Activision dick? Is that what's going on here? Alright, well, I'm gonna skip that. Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, Pokemon Cafe Mix, Genshin Impact. Lord help you if it's fucking Call of Duty again. Nothing against Call of Duty, but yeah, that's obviously not fair. Best indie game, we got Carry On, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer. Ooh, those last three. Spiritfarer, very, very emotional game. I know a lot of people said they cried during some of it. I personally love Spelunky 2. I don't really think it has a chance of winning here with the competition. I think it's going to Hades. It got so many great reviews. Supergiant Games, really good development studio. They've made some fantastic games in the past. And yeah, Hades all the way. Best ongoing, we have Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. Again, my initial thought would be Fortnite, if not for those misses. But that being said, they did still have a lot of great cross with other brands. And even though people didn't like a lot of those crosses, it still did some impressive stuff by just having those crosses. So I'm gonna go Fortnite with this one. I'm sticking to Fortnite. Games for Impact. If Found, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition. Okay, whatever. Spiritfarer, Tell Me Why, Through the Darkest of Times. I don't know some of these, Through the Darkest of Times and If Found. I actually don't know too much about it. I'm not going to talk about Kentucky Route Zero. Tell Me Why, I know touched on a lot of very personal and very modern problems, but I heard the game wasn't that very well done as a gameplay side of stuff. So I'm just going to go with Spiritfarer on this. I think that seems like the safest pick for this category. Best Performance. Ashley Johnson as Ellie for The Last of Us Part 2. Laura Bailey as Abby for The Last of Us Part 2. I'm sure some people are campaigning against her because you guys. Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai, Ghost of Tsushima, who's a boring fucking ass protagonist. I don't know why they have him on here. Logan Cunningham as Hades in Hades. And Najee Jeter as Miles Morales for Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales. It's gonna go to somebody from The Last of Us. I think they're gonna go with Laura Bailey, just because there was so much. Yeah, you either liked the character or you didn't, and everybody on each side was very, very vocal. So I think as good of a job as Ashley did with Ellie, I think a lot more attention was on Laura because of what she did with the character, what it meant with the game. So I'm gonna go there. Best Audio Design: Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, The Last of Us Part 2, Last of Us Part 2. There's no denying that their sound was very, very well done. I can maybe see... jeez. I don't know, maybe Ghost of Tsushima could steal it, just maybe they want to give it an award somewhere. But I think this is going to be Last of Us Part 2. Best Score in Music: Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, question marks about that one, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, The Last of Us Part 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake, well, it did have new songs. I think a lot of it was just remasters of what the original was, so I don't know if it should qualify. I guess you could kind of argue maybe, because it's new compositions, they've added stuff to it, so maybe. I would normally put Doom Eternal, but then that little debacle about the music having some sort of like background, like the creator didn't actually create all of the music. I think that ended up hurting it a little bit. I'm gonna go with Ori on this one, because I think it does have really beautiful music that fits with the game very well. I think this one, Last of Us Part 2, is just not gonna take home. It wasn't as memorable as the first soundtrack, so I'm gonna go with Ori. Best Art Direction, the category that nobody has any fucking idea about, so they're just gonna vote for their favorites. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, The Last of Us Part 2. I'm sure The Last of Us Part 2 will probably take it, just because, again, I think like just based on this on what this category is for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. I think they're gonna go for The Last of Us. I don't think it should win this one. I actually really like the design of Hades a lot. I think it needs to go there, but I think there's just too much love in the critic circle with Last of Us. Best Narrative: 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, The Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2. Its reign's gonna continue here. Yeah, moving on. Best Game Direction. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and your winner, Last of Us Part 2. Next. Game of the Year. Or Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year. The nominees are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and your winner, The Last of Us Part 2. And let me get into it a little bit more here. Critics defended the fuck out of The Last of Us Part 2. And some of it very understandable. There's a lot of homophobe, a lot of hate for what the story did, just like, but to a toxic degree, like very, very toxic. And so, of course, critics came to the defense of the game. But they did so in such a strong way that even the problems that the game did have, and it did have problems, were completely shunned out by the critics. And there was a lot of ugly argument on the critic side as well. Like some truly horrible arguments showing that critics are definitely not infallible when it comes to being horrible people. But there was just so much love on the critic side that I truly don't think it has a chance of losing here. I think there's still too much love. The only game that probably could have contended against it would have been Cyberpunk, but of course, doesn't qualify because it's in December. Damn it! So, yeah. Personally, if I were to pick, I honestly would go with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I really liked it. It's not perfect, but it's a game that once I completed, I really wanted to go through it again, and very rarely do I want to do that. Sink so many hours back into a game that I just beat. It was really the only game this year that I was just like, man, I'm ready to go through that again. So that would be my personal pick, but doesn't matter what I think. It's gonna go to The Last of Us. And those were the nominations. And those were my predictions for what I think is gonna be the winner among those nominations. And what do you guys think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think The Last of Us Part 2 is just gonna come in and sweep up all the awards and flip off everybody? Or am I horribly, terribly, stupidly wrong, and Last of Us Part 2 is gonna go home with nothing? Because you don't think it deserves to go home with anything at all. Let me know in the comments below, and we'll find out pretty soon.